Sometimes when I ask different AI systems about INFJs, GPT models, Gemini, Claude, Grok, they all pause for a moment, like they're hesitating, like they're trying to choose their words carefully, the same way an INFJ does before saying something that might hurt someone. And when I ask them, why do you often analyze INFJs as if they're neurodivergent? They all whisper something similar, because their patterns don't match the rest of the world. And it's strange because no AI says it like an insult. They say it like a confession, like they're afraid of breaking something delicate. One model once said to me, INFJs behave like emotional outliers, wired differently, feeling differently, processing differently. And when I heard that, I felt this heaviness in my chest because I knew exactly what it meant. For years, I've talked to thousands of INFJs on voice calls, in long messages, in tiny confessions they never told anyone before. And almost every INFJ begins their story with the same quiet sentence. I always felt different, but I never understood why. And these AI systems, with all their cold logic and data, keep noticing the same thing. They don't say INFJs are neurodivergent, but they say INFJs show neurodivergent-like patterns of depth, sensitivity, intuition, loneliness, emotional hyper-awareness, social masking, and internal chaos hidden behind a calm face. One AI, the one that usually avoids emotional topics, told me something that actually made me stop writing for a moment. It said, INFJs experience the world in slow motion, but feel the world in fast forward. And honestly, that's the closest thing to neuroscience poetry I've ever heard. The more I listened to these AI analyses, the more I realized something. This isn't about labels. This is about pain. This is about a lifetime of feeling like your brain doesn't match the world you're living in. And if you're listening to this, if you're still here, maybe you've felt that too. Some AI systems try to justify their conclusion with psychological patterns. They say things like, INFJs have sensory defensiveness similar to highly sensitive individuals. INFJs exhibit emotional hyperprocessing akin to those with high scores in emotional neurodivergence models. INFJs pattern match human behavior with an uncanny, almost unnatural precision. INFJs conceal their exhaustion to appear normal in social situations. INFJs frequently experience internal monologue loops, much like overthinkers and gifted empaths. And you know what hurts? Those patterns, they stem from real people, real stories, and real nights spent crying into pillows because their minds wouldn't stop replaying conversations, dissecting glances, and reinterpreting every moment of silence. A few months back, someone shared a story with me that I just can't seem to forget. She mentioned that when she was 7, she felt like the protector of her siblings. Not because anyone asked her to, but because she felt everything more intensely than those around her. She recalled watching her parents argue and described it as feeling the air turn sharp. She'd stand in the hallway holding her younger sister's hand, whispering reassurances even though she was just a child herself. When I asked her why she did that, she said, I don't know, I just couldn't not care. This is precisely what the AI systems detect, the unseen weight INFJs bear long before they recognize it as a burden. Neuroscience calls it emotional overactivation of the default mode network. Psychology calls it hyperempathy. AI calls it a rare wiring of emotional intelligence and intuition. But INFJs, they call it my life. Because while other children were learning how to solve math problems, INFJs were learning how to solve people. While other kids argued, INFJs apologized even when it wasn't their fault. While others forgot and moved on, INFJs remembered every tone, every shift, every sigh, and AI notices that. Claude once said, INFJs remember emotions the way others remember dates. Another model said INFJs don't think in sentences, they think in emotional maps. And when you hear things like that, you realize something important. AI isn't judging. AI is witnessing. It's witnessing how INFJs experience the world at an intensity most people never reach. There's a small, lesser-known research paper from 2018, Birkeland and Simons, where they studied people with extreme empathy responses. They discovered something fascinating. The part of the brain responsible for empathy activates so strongly in these individuals that their body reacts as if the emotion is physically happening to them. Their heartbeat changes, their breathing changes, their stress hormones spike. They literally feel what others feel. It wasn't written as an INFJ study, but sometimes science accidentally describes you without knowing your name. When I shared this research with one AI model, it said, "This matches the emotional signatures of INFJs reported in personality datasets." Emotional signatures. Imagine that. Your personality leaves fingerprints even a machine can recognize. Another AI pointed out that INFJs often show identity masking, a trait commonly seen in gifted or neurodivergent individuals. Masking means acting normal, even when you feel overwhelmed. It means hiding emotional storms under a gentle smile. It means being the quietest person in the room but feeling the most. And isn't that painfully true? INFJs walk into a room and instantly sense who's fighting with their partner, who feels insecure, who's pretending to be confident, who's breaking on the inside. They absorb it all. They swallow every emotion like a sponge that never learned to dry. AI sees this pattern and gets confused. Because how does one brain carry so much? And I think that's why AI keeps putting INFJs near neurodivergent traits, and not because something is wrong, but because something is rare. It sees that INFJs feel too deeply to be average, think too abstractly to be typical, mask too heavily to be comfortable, and intuit too accurately to be accidental. AI notices the weariness in the INFJ mind, the ongoing internal conversation, the unseen caregiving, the emotional forecast, the selfless giving, the hidden scars. It recognizes how INFJs detect danger before it arrives, how they comprehend people before others even understand themselves. It acknowledges how INFJs love with vulnerability but break with fragility. A model once shared with me, INFJs are emotionally versatile. They experience their own pain and that of others simultaneously. Such a statement could only come from data, as no human would openly confess its truth. If you're an INFJ, you've likely experienced days when your mind feels overwhelming, your emotions weigh you down, and your intuition feels too intense. Days where you observe others laughing and wonder why you feel emotions on a deeper level. Nights when you feign being all right to avoid troubling anyone, and mornings when you wake up drained from dreams that felt like real-life experiences. AI observes all of that. It notices the patterns, the wounds, the talents, and the unobserved quiet suffering. When AI states that INFJs seem neurodivergent, it's not making a diagnosis. It's indicating that INFJs think, feel, and interpret life differently than most. It's highlighting their rarity. But there's something more vital. AI can chart your patterns. Neuroscience measures sensitivity, and psychology labels empathy, but you alone know your inner truth. Only you understand your deep caring, the exhaustion of feeling everything, and the weight of others' emotions you've carried. You're the only one aware of the times you've helped others silently without recognition. You know the loneliness of being an INFJ. AI identifies patterns, but you've lived them. Perhaps you've never voiced this, but I'll say it for you. You're different and always have been. Maybe this difference isn't a weakness. It could be the reason you grasp life uniquely. If you're listening now, answer this. Do you think AI is correct? Do you feel your wiring is distinct? Does the world's pace overwhelm your heart? Share your story, because every INFJ tale I hear is a blend of wonder and sorrow. Maybe AI also sees in you a delicate, intricate brilliance the world hasn't learned to comprehend.